Okay guys, nearing the end on this now, but before we do get to the end, there's one thing I want to point out. Anybody else is building this. As you see here, step 9 is when you put the cabinet on here. And then here in the last step, step 11, is when you put these doors on. That's actually, at least for me anyways, I can't see how that's possible, because as you can see, the door has a top and a bottom pin, and this door is way too thick to have any flexibility in it, so there's no way to get the pins in. You can get one in, but there's no way to flex the door or flex the piece, the cabinet, to get the bottom pin in. So it's not possible to do it after. At least I can't get it done. So unfortunately that means I'm going to have my doors glued shut. And the reason I say unfortunately is if you... nice detail in there, having that valve manifold and that piping and stuff in there and the meter. So it's a nice little piece of detail to be able to have those doors open. So just something to keep track of if you're building this yourself. As well, be sure to think out how you're putting this. This has to go together in a certain. This has to go together in a certain order. So this piping here has to go down first, then this has to go on, then this fire extinguisher needs to go inside of there, and then the cabinet gets on, because you can see here it goes over top of the pipes. If you were to put this on, you could do it, but you would have to cut this piping apart to be able to make it work. And similar to when you get to this step. Back here, these rails have to go on first, then this piece with the air lines and stuff goes on, and then your axles can go on. So just something to keep track of if you're like me. Most of us, we try to put together large assemblies before we actually paint, if everything's going to be the same color. So just something to keep in mind there if you're taking that approach with this kit. So yeah, so like I said, unfortunately I got to have my doors glued shut. So anyways guys, I'll be right back, and next time you see this it should be completed. So be back in 1 second. Okay guys, so here it is, finally done. Yeah, it was a pretty fun build. If you wanted to spend the time and really do a good job of cleaning it up, and you know, everything fit perfect, you could make a really nice model out of this. I didn't do that. I was just looking for a quick build, which this was, even though it was on the bench for a long time. It was a pretty quick build. And again, you know, I used enamel paints, took a long time to dry and stuff, but the actual build time on the model itself was fairly quick. So you could easily bang this out in a weekend. But yeah, like I said, a little bit of work, and it could be a really nice build. It's a really cool subject, and being it's 1/48 scale, it would go really good in a aircraft refueling type of a diorama or small gas station diorama. Doing a gas station, I think, would pose some challenges just because of the scale. I don't know how easy it would be to find like domestic type vehicles in 1/48 scale. But for aircraft, yeah, you wouldn't have any issues at all. So as I said, I did it in this Golden Eagle livery. This is a gas company that used to be here on the East Coast when I was growing up, probably late 70s. Well, a lot earlier than that, but when I was just a kid in late 70s, early 80s, this gas company was here in Eastern Canada. Since been bought out and is now called Ultramar, which again, a lot of you probably haven't heard of that before either, but so I'll just give it a quick spin here. So this is meant to be a used truck. It's not completely weathered and beat up, but it's not showroom condition either. Let me back out a little bit here. So I used some of the kit decals, and most of the other ones I made myself. As I mentioned at the early part of this video, I had to glue these doors shut, unfortunately, but and you can see there is some touch up I need to do still on the tires. Tires are plastic on this, so you can see there's some yellow overspray there that I didn't catch. So it's a couple of small things like that I need to do. Still need to give it a satin clear coat. So things like here, you can see sinkholes here that I didn't fill. Again, if you took the time to fix that kind of thing. The other thing to be careful of, which I didn't realize, this cab tilts, of course, to show the engine. But so the cab is, it is where it is. It can't go anywhere else. But if you see how far this wheel is back here. So I think the springs, the front springs, they have a front and a back. When I looked at them on the tree, the wheel looked like it was centered in the spring, so I didn't pay attention to what was front and what was back. So I think that is the reason for that. Essentially, I think I put the springs on backwards, and that pushed the wheel back. And if you remember, I was saying in my last video I had a little bit of trouble with the front axle because the cradle wasn't fitting the engine correctly. And I think that that's what's doing it. I think the front springs are on backwards. So that's another build here. I also made these small logos for the doors. I think they should have been a little bit bigger maybe, but yeah, sometimes they were small, sometimes not. So anyways guys, that's my build this year for the Big Rig Group build. A bit on the late side, but done now nonetheless. Like I said, it was a fun build. It was a quick build. It can be a quick build. It can also be a very long build, depending on what you want to put into it. So I have, I think I have at least one, maybe two more of these kits in the stash. I do plan on getting a few more, because I want to do, I'd like to do quite a few of them in all different older liveries, like the old Texaco livery and old Shell livery and this kind of thing. So yeah, so I'd like to have at least another 2 or 3 of these kits, and you know, the next one I do, I will actually do a better job than I did on this one. I will actually fill in those sink marks and do all the test fitting and part cleanup and everything beforehand. And one of them will be built as the Sinclair truck, as is on the box. So anyways guys, that's it for the Big Rig Group build for 2020. So as always, thanks for watching, and hope you stay tuned for the next build.